All right, man, peace. You know, brothers, at the start of the 1990s, there was a crop of unbelievable wide receivers who really all should be in the Hall of Fame. And the only one who isn't as of right now is Sterling Sharpe. Now, Sterling Sharpe stood out because he was unbelievably strong, especially after he caught the football. And for a couple of years, he battled Jerry Rice for the title of the best receiver in the NFL. Of course, Jerry Rice not only stands out as the greatest receiver of his era, but of all time. And in my view, he's also the greatest football player of all time. Cris Carter was transcendent because he probably had the greatest hands of any receiver in the history of football. Andre Reed was unbelievable because he would go over the middle with reckless abandon. But the receiver that may have encapsulated what all of those receivers did was Michael Irvin, because what made him stand out was his unbelievable passion. Well, he sat down with Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman, and of course, in true Michael Irvin fashion, he spontaneously combusted over the talk pertaining to his Cowboys. So, of course, they're going to talk about it, and I'm going to chime in.
Wherever you go. Cowboys fans, they show up, boy, and they show off, and they show out. They're always here.
I remember when the Cowboys first started to come into prominence in the early 90s. I think like 91 was when they first kind of came out of nowhere. My first year watching football, they were 1-15. I'll never forget that. And then they just started to incrementally get better and better. They took a huge leap when they drafted Emmitt Smith. I believe they went 11-5. I'm not going to say that was his rookie year. That may have been his second year where they went 11-5. That was also Michael Irvin's first great year because he had been in the NFL for about 4 years, not really doing much. And then all of a sudden, I think Troy Aikman got hurt that year. Steve Berline took over, and Michael Irvin just had an unbelievable year. He actually had a better year, I think, than even Jerry Rice. And then the next year, they go on and win the championship and blow out the Buffalo Bills in the Super Bowl. And I just remember how it seemed like Dallas Cowboy fans just came out of nowhere. All of a sudden, they were everywhere. And when I first started watching football, of course, the San Francisco 49ers, they were the team. So that was the team that I started to follow as a child. Them and a couple other teams, of course, the hometown teams, because you can watch them every week. But the Cowboys just came out of nowhere, and it just seemed like their fans just came out of nowhere. And now, in hindsight, I realized that they just happen to always have a great national following. And as usual with teams that have great national followings, like the Lakers, the Yankees, the Cowboys, when the team is not good, they go into hiding. When the team reemerges, they come back out to the forefront. But I remember those early 90s Cowboys teams and their fans just seemed like they just came out like, like an infestation. It was unbelievable. And all those dudes on the Cowboys were a bunch of cokeheads, and they would still go 12-4, 13-3 during the season.
And bring your show to it. How many teams will you do it? You know what? First of all, come here. You must.
There ain't but a couple of guys that can out-yell Stephen A. Smith. LeVar Ball, Michael Irvin, maybe a couple other guys. Yeah, this dude is like a crackhead retired football playing preacher. In my house.
This is your show, but you are in my house. This is Irvin. This is Texas, baby. We used to play right there in Irvin, Texas. They moved it to Arlington, but it's still Irvin. Let me tell you something. Let them know that. Let me tell you something. What I'm saying, what's up? Don't be so playmaker. Don't be showing up looking clean. Looking clean. First of all, I must confess,
I do like the outfit. That is an improvement compared to that white checkered outfit you wore the opening week of the NFL season. That's number one.
Mike don't even remember what he wore opening week of the NFL season. He only remembers the best crack rock he smoked. He don't remember nothing else other than that.
That's number one. I got another point. Let me ask you this question. Now, you and I go back many years.
I love you to death. But it will not slow me down from banging you up here today. But let's keep going.
Hey!
Let's keep going, though. Let's keep going. What you got to say?
What? Got nothing to say. That's what I'm saying.
Go way back.
How do you on?
Finish
Hold on,
it up. We go way back. What?
That's right. 9 years. In the last 23 years, 9 times you made the playoffs. You got two playoff victories. Michael Irvin is a 3-time Super Bowl champion. You are a Hall of Famer, and you are representing mediocrity so proudly. You should be calling them more accountable than me. You're the problem. You're the problem. You become a cheerleader.
Let me tell you something. Now, winning championships is a grueling process.
Yes.
It's a grueling process, and it must be done correctly.
That's right.
You're talking about Dallas. You can mention another 15 other teams right now, 16 other teams,
right?
20 other teams that hadn't won in that length of time.
Oh.
Well, here's the problem with that, Michael Irvin, and I agree with you. But the Dallas Cowboys, their reputation precedes them. When the Dallas Cowboys don't win, it's like the LA Lakers not winning or the New York Yankees not winning. They're a high-end franchise. They're always going to be a team within the NFL that the NFL wants to do well, or at least to be fashionable, because of everything that comes along with it. The Dallas Cowboys, they really are. They're a glamour franchise.
We loving ourselves. We loving ourselves, everybody else. Don't stand up. Don't stand up like you gonna do something. Don't stand up like you gonna do something.
Stephen A. Smith, you better leave Michael Irvin alone before he stab you with a pair of scissors like he did that dude in the barbershop. For those of you who don't know, Michael Irvin stabbed some dude in the barbershop back when he was on the Cowboys because it was some guy who he felt like was beneath him, got in the barber's chair in the team barbershop, and Michael Irvin told him to get his ass out the chair, and the guy said no. Michael Irvin damn near tried to kill him.
Then you got to start count how many championship trophies lays with those teams. And I'm telling you right now, the Cowboys are right up there with the Patriots and the Steelers. So all these other teams you're talking about, they don't have as many.
Let me ask you
something. No, we're talking about number of championships.
Okay.
We're still up there right now.
I asked you a question.
So, when you go to history, let's go into history. Don't just go to your history. Let's go to the history.
Yo, if he liked this at 50, can you imagine him 25 years ago? Oh, my goodness. Imagine this dude giving a speech before the big game 25 years ago. You'd be ready to run through a wall.
Don't go into history at all. If you're going to go back there, we can go back there.
Let's go.
Or we can stay right here. Either way you want.
I'm going back there.
Come on, man. Stop playing.
Hold on. Is that? Hold on.
No, this is what y'all do. This is what they do, see. They go to their history, but they won't go to all over the history.
Michael, is that going to write history, or will he be history? Is he the guy to take you into the future to make some history?
That's a great question, Max. And can we get an answer without the move we just made? Can you really get an answer on that without giving him the weapons around him? And I think that's why Amari Cooper was a big deal. And we needed to get Amari Cooper. And I think tonight right here in Dallas, we see the dawn of a new day. The beginning of a new age. And a time where the Cowboys will rightfully regain and take their proper spot among teams. Do you hear me? Regain and take their proper spot among the teams.
Yo, this dude is off the chain, man. Imagine you his child. I want you to have control at every point. I want you to take your proper spot amongst kings. And you just like, Dad, I just want to know where the remote control is. That's all.
I'm just letting you know, baby. That's right, baby.
I got him.
I got to rewind this back.
And we needed to get Amari And I think tonight, right here in Dallas, we see the dawn of a new day, the beginning of a new age, and a time where the Cowboys will rightfully regain and take their proper spot among teams. Do you hear me? Regain and take their proper spot among the teams. I'm just letting you know, baby. That's right, baby.
I got him. Let me ask you a question. Look at me when I'm talking to you. Look at me when I'm talking to you. Are you ready for this?
Hey, Jerry Jones and Skip Bayless, they call Michael Irvin the driving force behind those championship teams. I believe him. Because, man, good Lord.
It is true that when you were a member of the Cowboys and Jimmy Johnson came on board to coach this team, it is true that Jimmy Johnson went to you and you sat up there and said, if the dawn of a new day is imminent, we need to get rid of this, and this. So what happened to that philosophy now? Y'all won 2 playoff games in 25 years, and you're going to sit up here, stick it up your chest, talk about it's the dawn of a new day? Y'all ain't nothing, okay? You ain't been nothing. Last time y'all was something, you had an afro. My hairline was 2 feet forward. Don't get me started. Don't act like they the Lord. You a champion walking around with rings, but these boys ain't won in 23 years, and you sitting here representing them. You should be ashamed of yourself. You should be ashamed of yourself. You should be ashamed of yourself. You should be ashamed of
It's
yourself.
nice that he mentioned the number 23. I love.
Yo, look at Michael Irvin's face, man. This dude, he's about to spontaneously combust, man. I mean, like he just smoked 5 8 balls of crack and had 3 pork chop sandwiches.
I love the number 23 because that's how old Ezekiel Elliott is. He's 23. Amari Cooper 24 and Dak 25. You know what that says? You got 10 good years, man. 10 good years starting the dawn of the day. This day.
Time out, Michael.
10 good years.
We know Ezekiel Elliott is a great player.
Right.
We don't know that Amari Cooper. He has talent to me. We don't know about Dak.
Has played great in this league.
But is he a great player? And do we know about Dak?
Yeah.
I don't know why they don't have a towel or a paper towel on hand for Michael Irvin. You know that he sweats, he gets riled up, he gets amped up. The last time he was on their show, he was on there with Richard Sherman. The same thing happened. He started talking a whole gang load of shit, started sweating like a fire hydrant. I mean, come on. He's just one of those guys, you have to have a towel on hand because he's going to bring it.
Yeah, yes, we do know. Now, come on, man.
You know about that?
Yeah,
No questions.
Yeah, no, I have no questions whatsoever. Be real here, guys. Dak Prescott put up the greatest rookie season ever.
I agree. His rookie season was a tad bit better than Dan Marino's rookie season.
And then last year, and then last year, without Ezekiel Elliott for 6 games, he had 1 game missing the playoffs. Ever. All of this rhetoric that y'all sing out y'all mouth, singing on the radio like y'all humming like Donald Summers or somebody, is just noise. Are you crazy? Dak Prescott is a big-time player.
Now, if the Cowboys team had this kind of passion, they'd have a winning record.
I'm sweating out. Why am I?
They actually could use somebody like a Michael Irvin. Dez Bryant tried to be Michael Irvin, but he's not intelligent enough to be Michael Irvin. And Michael's not a Mensa member, but he's far more galvanizing than Dez Bryant could ever be because Dez was just so immature. And of course, again, Michael Irvin was not the most mature guy, but as a leader, he had it in spades. Michael Irvin said, is it that hot in here? No, it's not that it's that hot in here. It's that you're about to spontaneously combust from hyping yourself up.
That's what I'm talking about. I have taken over his show because it's in my city. Come on, man, let's finish doing some TV. I told y'all to come here, man.
What about your coach? What about your coach, Michael?
What do you mean, what about coach?
What about coach? You need a great quarterback and a great coach to win in this league. I don't know about your quarterback. I know about your coach. Is that a great coach?
Okay, now tell me this now. See, this is what I love. Because the NFL gives it to you every week. You get all these guys you consider great coach. Look at what John Cruz did. All right? You thought he was going to come back and tear it up. No, he was working for y'all. He was supposed to come back and tear it up. You are dealing with a different group of guys. And Coach Garrett knows how to work with these group of guys.
What evidence is that? Hold on. What evidence does Michael Irvin have that Jason Garrett knows what he's doing? What's the evidence? Where's the evidence? Where's the evidence? What's where?
I'm not where's the evidence.
Where?
Your talent
Where?
is. He's accumulated talent right now.
He's accumulated? Did Stephen Jones accumulate that talent?
Michael Irvin can't even see what's going on. He got too much sweat in his eyes.
Jason Garrett?
But they have accumulated the talent.
All right, I'm talking about the coach.
You guys always trying to put.
What's he going to do with the talent, playmaker? What's he going to do with it?
Right now, he has the young talent, and tonight is the beginning of that. Hey, we needed that receiver.
Mike Irvin, the type of dude, have a 20-minute knockdown, drag-out argument with his wife, and then come back 5 seconds later and be like, I love you, bitch. Make me a sandwich.
I'm going to tell you this. I told Jared, I told him, right, I said, don't get rid of Dez. We couldn't do that. We shouldn't have done that. That happened. It's okay. You can't go back now. But we just moved.
Molly, this man is working so hard, I think his health is in jeopardy. Let him mop off. Let's take a break. Let's pay some bills.
That's a good job by you, Max Kellerman. That's professional because he does need to tighten up a little bit. This man like a pork chop eating preacher in a Christian church on Sunday. Aha.
I ain't going to,
Michael,
I ain't going nowhere. They in my city. Y'all come right on back. I'ma still be right here. They tell.
You're looking at the wrong camera, Mike.
I'm worried about you.
Sit down. Don't worry
All
about
right, we'll be back in.
Randy Tat
We're taking a quick break here.
Come on back here.
We're with the
Come on back. Come on back. I'm going to smoke some crack.
Michael Irvin.
Hey, Marty, you the best on the set. You the best on the set.
Watch your mouth.
Mike Irvin said, I'm the best on the set. Steven ain't mad as hell, too. I can't believe this crackhead has the unmitigated gall to take my shine.
Watch your mouth.
Right here, having fun out here.
They still trying to fix Michael Irvin microphone. The microphone going to short out from all the sweat. You're going to see the next segment, Michael Irvin going to get electrocuted.
Y'all out of hand around here. Gotta be sweating around here, man. Coming through all this.
They got me sweating around here. Michael Irvin sweating in the shower.
Good day, Texas. First Take is out here. Monday Night Football, Cowboys, Titans, live in Arlington. These fans always show up. They always show out. Stephen A. loves the Cowboys fans.
Yeah.
That face.
You know, a lot of people, I saw a sign over here, Stephen A. is a closet Cowboys fan.
Listen, let me tell y'all something.
He is a closet Cowboys fan. Anybody who's a hater is just a fan, just turned inside out. That's all they are. Whenever you're spending that much energy like Stephen A. Smith does on the Cowboys, it's obvious that it's one of two things or both. He understands that the Cowboys bring a lot of ratings, which they do, because once again, they're pretty much a national franchise. They're a Glamour franchise. And also he knows that he can hitch his wagon to their star. That was a formula that was laid out by he and Skip Bayless, where Skip Bayless played the big Cowboy fan and he played the Cowboy antagonist. It's a paradigm that's getting replicated right now on Fox Sports 1 with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. And Stephen A. Smith, being the good television man that he is, he knows that he has to continue that paradigm on this show because whether he likes the Cowboys or not, they move the needle when it comes to the NFL. There's only about 3 or 4 franchises in the NFL that really move the needle. You have the Cowboys, the Patriots, the Steelers, maybe the Packers, maybe. But it's basically those top 3. Cowboys, Patriots, Steelers. The NFL would dream to have a Cowboys-Patriots Super Bowl, especially while Tom Brady's still playing.
I just find it to be, hold on. I just find it to be disgraceful that a 3-time Super Bowl champion and a Hall of Famer, a person that has the gold jacket that got introduced by Jerry Jones because he's a Dallas Cowboy, will sit up here with pride about a franchise that has won 2 playoff games in 23 years, acting like everything is okay. Y'all ain't even the best team in Texas. Right now it's the Houston Texans. I mean, that's how pathetic y'all are.
The Houston Texans are playing their backside off, but that's due to their exemplary quarterback, Mr. Deshaun Watson, and I'm very happy for him because it looked like at the start of the season that he had regressed a little bit, but as I stated, it appeared to me to be more that so many of these coaches across the NFL were sitting their quarterbacks like they were Tom Brady or something, and Interestingly enough, Bill Belichick was playing Tom Brady more than these other coaches were playing their young quarterbacks. And their young quarterbacks were the quarterbacks that needed the reps. They needed the reps even more than Tom Brady. But in Tom Brady's mind, he always has to stay ahead of the competition. So that's why he is who he is. So Deshaun Watson and a lot of the other young quarterbacks, they started off very slow because their coaches were not playing them as much as they should have in the preseason. Now we see now that Deshaun's starting to get more of a rhythm. He's getting better and better every week. And they're going to be a major problem. They're going to be very scary in the playoffs should they get there, which I assume they will, because right now in the AFC South, who really is their competition? The Colts, the Jaguars, the Titans. I don't really see any of those teams threatening them.
And you sit up there with your straight face, talking about this job, sounding like TD Jakes, who I love, by the way. But you're sounding like TD Jakes. He ain't here, you here. And he
the son sounds like the father.
And he,
There's
and
nothing wrong
that's
with
right,
that.
but he can't protect. Hey, listen, he's talking about God. You're talking about, I'm talking about God's team.
TD Jakes ain't talking about God, bro. He's talking about Tammuz. That is who TD Jakes worships. That is who all the mega pastors worship. They worship Tammuz. They do not worship God or the God of the Bible, that's for sure. They venerate Tammuz, believe it or not.
The Dallas Cowboys. He's talking about God, and I'm talking about God's team. That's why we got a hole in the roof. That's right. What do you think it's God's team?
Right on it.
Come on, man. Come on.
Y'all are ridiculous.
All right.
Where's your rigs at?
Can I talk some
So why is
football?
God
I'm going to
testing
tell you like I tell my wife. We saying the same thing. It's God.
Why is God testing you Cowboys and Cowboys fans like this?
No. God, what God is doing is giving all of you guys a great illustration and a demonstration. He lets the Cowboys start hard times, and then he watches as we come up and rise from the bottom and go to the top. And everybody out there in life that is going through something in life, they grab a hold of that and they allow it to engraft in their spirit.
You see how easy it is to be a preacher? All you have to do is be able to be a great actor, a great orator. That is what Michael Irvin is. He easily could become a pastor at a church. He does not have to know or understand the Bible. It's just his delivery. That's why when he's speaking, even Stephen A. Smith states that he's trying to be T.D. Jakes, because you don't really need knowledge to be a so-called pastor today. All you have to do is be able to pull at the heartstrings.
And then they are made better by watching God's team. God knows what he's doing. He's still writing the Bible through the Cowboys. Don't let me teach you what?
Did you hear what this dude just said? He said God is still writing the Bible through the Cowboys.
What? And I have never, ever in my history on this show meant the word blasphemous as much as I mean it right now.
That actually was blasphemous, Stephen A. Smith. Get him.
How dare you say such a thing? You apologize right now. You apologize. Hey, you look at me. You look up to the heavens right now. You apologize for saying that about the Cowboys. You have no business to say that.
Thousands of years old.
Stop
That's
it.
what God
They do play on Sunday.
Stop it.
Today, Monday.
He's still writing right here. All you got to do is
Writing what? Writing what? How to learn from losing?
Oh, come on.
How to learn.
Now, did you hear what Michael Irvin stated? He said you go to church every Sunday and you read from a book that's thousands of years old. In other words, he's another person who goes to church and does not believe in the Bible. He's better off just staying home. But the reason why he cannot stay home is because if he just stays home and doesn't go to church, his name is going to appear on the front page of the newspaper because he's going to get found in another crack house. Most of these people use the church system as a rehab facility. That's all it really is. That's why I state most of these so-called Christians do not even really believe in the Bible. The God of the modern day Christian church, and of course, this will probably be considered a quote unquote controversial statement, but the God of the modern day Christian church is Asar and also Tammuz, his son, aka Haru. Those are the gods of the Christian church, believe it or not. That's why a lot of them don't even really believe in the Bible. They act like they do, but they really don't. So Michael Irvin, he don't even really want to be bothered with the church, but he has to go because he knows if he doesn't, he's going to end up in a pine box from ODing on crack or cocaine or something.
Overcoming adversity.
How to be mediocre.
In the middle of life, how to overcome adversity, and how to keep plugging and through all things.
Stand up on
And through all
Stand up on me right here. I'm telling you right now.
most important part of it all is support. And that's what you get from the Cowboy fan. You get support no matter what.
Okay.
But come on, let's get back to talking football.
All right, let's talk some football.
We are talking football.
Can I get in here?
Okay.
Let me get in here. Michael, let me ask you this.
Shame on you.
Because the only thing I see from Dez Bryant now is him tweeting. The man does not have a job.
My heart hurts about this.
Why have the Cowboys not brought him back? I know they got Amari Cooper.
Let's be real here. It's not even just about the Cowboys here. My heart hurts about this after seeing all of those moves that were made at the trade deadline. People were giving up assets, and not one of them called Dez Bryant. And I thought myself, wow, something's going on that I don't know. Somebody's saying something that I don't know, something being said that I haven't heard, because why are all of those teams that needed wide receivers and no one is even...
But Michael, why now, when he was made offers before the season started? It's obvious that a couple teams at least wanted him now. Were willing to pay him some money too. Why did everyone change their mind?
Because he cannot fit into every system. There are only a few teams whose systems he could fit into. For some reason, he thought that he would be considered on the same scale of an Antonio Brown or Julio Jones or an A.J. Green. And he's just not that guy. And Odell Beckham better be careful, because he could easily end up being the next Dez Bryant if he's not very, very careful. Now, Dez is much more naturally gifted than Dez Bryant was. But Dez Bryant at his peak back in 2013, 2014, he was a beast. He was a beast. He was the jump ball master. He was the back shoulder master as well. Now, in regards to Odell does not have quite those abilities of a Dez Bryant in regards to jump balls, because he doesn't have the height or the size. Odell is an explosive athlete. He has like a 40-inch vertical around there. But he's only about 5'10 and a half, 5'11. And he's somebody whose skills and athleticism are going to depreciate greatly and starkly in the next few years, especially in a modern NFL where the secondary and the linebackers are told to go for receivers' legs as opposed to taking headshots. So Odell better get his act together. He better straighten up and fly right.
Why wouldn't they change their mind? Because he's been sitting around. Maybe he thought that Dallas was coming back. I feel bad for him.
That's exactly what he thought. He thought that Dallas was going to come back.
Because I think it makes me, I just feel bad for him. And maybe he thought Dallas was coming back, but now everybody sees Dallas not coming back. Why not say, hey, Dez, come in, we're going to pay you this, something, and see what you got for us. It's an 8-game stretch, and if you love it, you say, yeah, let's do it again next year, and you can raise the number if it goes well. But then why not even knock on the door? Not even knock on the door to see? That's what I'm saying. That worries me.
Do you believe that the Dallas Cowboys may have sullied the name of Dez Bryant, or did Dez Bryant sully his own name?
It's a combination. Dez Bryant sullied his own name through his great immaturity, but also there were some prominent former NFL players like Cris Carter and Shannon Sharpe who decided that they were going to go on a crusade against Dez Bryant and destroy his name and his reputation on the national airwaves. And they've even reared it back a little bit now, Cris Carter and Shannon Sharpe, because I think that even they realize the impact that they've had on his career. I mean, literally every day, all they talked about was how bad a route runner he was and how bad his hands were and how slow he was. That's all they talked about. So who's going to pick him up after that? What they have to say about Dez Bryant, and you're talking about two Hall of Fame pass catchers in Cris Carter and Shannon Sharpe. Their evaluations on Dez Bryant is going to have a very strong impact.
Because there was so much stuff that was... Listen, there's no excuse for him not to be on the NFL roster.
Right. Jerry, I don't think Jerry would do that after working.
I don't think Jerry would either. But that doesn't mean there weren't other people.
Yeah, and everybody's going to have a conversation. You know what I mean? People have conversations with people they know. But I don't know who said something or what's going on. But something has been going on. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. It's not like Dez fell off and couldn't play at all. Dez can still play a lot of good football, and I thought one of those teams should have looked at it.
We're in an era of receivers now. I know the rules favor the offense, but oh my! I mean, everywhere you look, every time you try to make a top five, Michael Thielen or someone else, maybe I got to put him in the top five.
Although Thielen has to go into the top five right now because he's breaking records, he has to go into the top five. To be quite honest with you, Odell has to come out of the top five. That's kind of obvious. Right now, the top five has to be Antonio Brown, Julio Jones, Thielen, A.J. Green, and the kid out there with the Texans.
Who are the best receivers in the game right now in order? Playmaker.
Well, that's a great question now, because I do believe the game is so greatly judged because assets are different. Like, look at Julio Jones. He looks like the greatest beast that ever been born and played a position. But then you see Adam Thielen doing what he's doing. I don't care what you look like. I don't care how physically gifted you are. What is your production? It's what ultimately.
So who is it? Who's 1, 2, and 3 for you?
The same people that gives up the production every year. You got Julio, you got AB. I do have Adam Thielen in there, and I do got Michael Thomas in there. I always have.
Oh yeah, let me not forget Michael Thomas. Absolutely.
Always have Michael Thomas.
Where's Odell? Where's AJ Green?
Odell's not in the top 5 anymore. Max Kellerman can't be. Last year he was hurt, and this year he's having a down year. We can blame the quarterback, we can blame the offensive line, but Odell is not top 5 anymore.
And Odell's in there. A.J. Green is right there, too.
Mike Evans? I mean, there's so many guys.
Yeah, but I put Mike Evans on that next level right below those other guys we just mentioned, because those other guys are bad boys.
Let me ask you this.
And I tell people about Adam Thielen, stop talking. It's not a slot receiver. This is a real receiver that can play in the slot. Slot receivers we consider are people like the Wes Welkers of the world. You'll never make them the best receiver in the league because they're slot receivers. But Adam Thielen is a receiver that plays in the slot.
All right, let me ask you this. By the way, you're preaching. You're trending on Twitter right now.
Oh, really?
No surprise.
That's what I do.
Obviously,
that's what I do.
You're also an analyst. That's what you do. You work every Sunday, NFL Network on game day. What's really surprising you this season? Like, who's really standing out to you? Player, team, anything, storyline?
Kansas City. Kansas City.
Well, I'm certainly surprised with the turn that the Jaguars have taken. You know what I mean? Because
Not really surprised about them. Whenever you have teams in an offensive era that pride themselves on their defense, they're prone to go 12-4 one year and then 4-12 the next year, because defensive teams tend to be so emotional. And then we're living in the woke era, so that's taken a lot of these great defensive teams that are normally emotionally bent anyway, and then they go overboard with it. They just go over the top. That's why you see teams like the Denver Broncos with their great defense, the Seahawks. They don't last more than 2 years because their guys are so out of control. They're so emotional. Everybody thinks that you just have to express yourself. The first thing that comes to your mind, you just have to say it because you're woke. So it's the same case with the Jacksonville Jaguars. They had the issue with their star cornerback running his mouth. Of course, upper management put the kibosh on it. Now they're upset with the quarterback, even though their defense has not been playing well. And that's another thing with great defensive teams in an offensive era. They fall off real quick, they start to play bad, and then they want to blame the quarterback. The Seahawks wanted to blame the quarterback, even though they gave up a whole bunch of yards and points to Tom Brady in the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl. They want to blame the quarterback for throwing an interception. How about you guys giving up a bunch of points and a bunch of yards? So, I mean, it is what it is.
I thought, man, this is it, especially after you beat New England. After you beat New England in the regular season, I said, oh, this is it, man. I was shocked with that. And now I'm blown away with young Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is playing football, man.
Yeah, he's shocking me. I mean, he really does. He has shocked me.
Man, and I've always...
This dude reminds me so much of John Elway.
Always thought Andy Reid has been a beast. I said it before Philly was crazy to let him go. I would have never let him get away. But now he has a rock house.
I'm looking at this man, Stephen A. Smith, looking at you with what looks like disdain. At a Hall of Famer, it looks like disdain in his eyes. Where do you think the hate in him comes from, Michael? Where does it come from?
Where that ill will animosity comes from in me, in him at me. I don't know where that is.
You know where it comes from? You want me to tell you where it comes from?
Where does that come from?
I don't understand how I, who's never played football.
No shit. Never played basketball either. You rode the end of the bench.
All right?
Yes.
Steven, splinter in your ass, Smith.
Holds a team more accountable than a man that helped them win 3 Super Bowl championships, established a culture, and has watched it shredded to ashes, and not only that, has watched a sheer violation of everything you and Emmett and Troy Evans saw. You have gone against it. You have violated it. A matter of fact, I can make an argument. You are actually betraying the Dallas Cowboys.
This would hold true.
You're betraying the legacy of the Cowboys.
This would hold true with all you're saying if I stepped on the field and we started winning right away. if it was just like bing and we just win, then
He said, "Bing."
then I would hold everybody accountable to that. But since I came on at 3-13, 1-15,
Right.
and then in a few short years,
Right.
won 3 and 4
Right,
years,
right.
I know what the process is.
All right, can I
see
ask you a
what
question?
process
Hold on.
is
Can
in process.
I comment about that
Yes,
process?
but you asked me a question. You got to give me time to answer. We are not having dialogue. We are having a dialogue, not a monologue.
Better watch your mouth. Your number one. Better watch your mouth.
That means you talk, I talk. And I said when I talk, I don't want you just waiting to speak. I want you listening.
I told you, Michael Irvin, one of them dudes let his wife have it. It'd be like, "I love you, bitch. Make me a sandwich. Pour me a drink, too. Give me a kiss."
Because I got something for you. Listen.
I do listen. I remember seeing Michael Irvin on the NFL Network
Yes.
talking about that process. I remember that same Michael Irvin
Yeah.
saying, excuse me, one of the things I love about the NFL is the parity. 1 week, 1 year, you can
Right,
stink.
right, right.
And the next year, you
Right.
can win a championship.
can't-
But the Cowboys, we've been waiting 23 years. 23 years. And you on Dancing with the Stars. Do you understand that? You on Dancing with the Stars.
There's some teachings out there.
You went from
called
playing to
selective
going to
hearing
this stuff.
and selective retention. That means people hear what they want and retain what they want.
I agree with you, sir. I've experienced that quite a bit. People definitely hear what they want and they retain what they want. There's no doubt about that. I like those two sayings, selective hearing and selective retention. I have to use that. Thank you, sir.
And all you guys seem to hear and retain are the 23 years of playoff problems
All right.
instead of the whole history.
Michael, I listen.
I listen. Get it all.
We got to get a commercial break in here, though, guys. When we come back, y'all having fun? What's going on, everybody? Welcome to First Take live in Arlington. The Playmaker, so nice, releasing some stress after that beatdown
Right.
you just gave him, Irv. He knows what it
Benedict Arnold
is.
stuff right there. That's Benedict Arnold stuff. That's betrayal.
The floor is
He's
yours.
not, but this is my team. This is our team. You should get him.
The floor is yours, Stephen A.
Are you ready for notes? Are you ready for notes? Because I got Steven's A list, all right? Y'all know what time it is. Let's get right to it. Number 5, Dak Prescott. That's Steven's A list. That's the problem, all right? We're going to put this right there, right there, right there. Why? Now, why do I mention Dak Prescott? You know why? Because we're still trying to figure stuff out. The rookie year was special, but what the hell has he done since? We're wondering.
Yo, look at Michael Irvin's shirt. He done sweated through the whole shirt. Michael Irvin like he ran through the car wash.
That's why they have to go out there and look at Amari Cooper. Oh my God, we've got to get him help. Why? Because you don't know about him. That's why. Let's go to number 4 on Steven's A list about the problem with the damn Cowboys. Jason Garrett. That's what we know. Right there. Right there. Why? Because we're talking about a coach, 2 playoff victories. He hasn't done anything. I don't even know if he deserved to be the head coach. He was getting paid as much as the offensive coordinator as the damn head coach. So what does that tell you? He's not a head coach because he's qualified. He's a head coach because Jerry Jones loves him. Oh, please. Let's go to number 3. Number 3 on the list of the problem with the Dallas Cowboys. America's team's reputation. That's what the problem is. Let's go right here.
All the reasons.
America.
Hold on, you got to move over. America can't see your list.
The United States.
Gotta keep it
The United States of America. The greatest country on God's green earth. This is what we say. This is what we talk about. And what is our representation? Excuse me? A team that can't win but 2 playoff games in 23 years? It takes 3 playoff victories in 1 year at least to win a Super Bowl. Enough said. Number 2 on the list. The problem with America's team. Jerry Jones. That's what it is. Let's go right here.
Now, Stephen ain't know he full of shit with that one. Because Jerry Jones will text his phone right after the show and be like, "Stephen A., I got 3 hoes waiting for you in the hotel room."
Why? Because he's Jerry. He knows football. The problem is he knows football. He thinks he knows too much damn football, and he wants to do what he wants to do, when he wants to do it. And he wants to hire people that he loves. He wants to hire people that he wants to bring home for Thanksgiving dinner. That's what he wants to do. It's a priority to have a great relationship with him instead of win damn football games. Evidence, no damn Super Bowl.
Give a lot of sense.
Number 1 on the list. Cowboys by their team. What is the problem with that? Guess what? If you know the fans are going to come no matter what, if they're going to support you no matter what, if they're going to stand by you no matter what, guess what? The priority doesn't become with it because you don't have to worry about losing them. The Dallas Cowboy fans do not hold the Dallas Cowboys accountable. That's one of the reasons why you're the most disgusting, nauseating fan base in American history.
You make valid points, Stephen A. Smith, especially with number one. When you happen to be a follower or an adherent to a certain team, ideology, faction, group, etc., you do have to hold that faction to a certain standard of propriety and conduct so that they can, maintain a certain level of upkeep. If not, they will fall off.
That's my list. This is what it is. I said it. You know 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 it. Forget it. What are you saying? You know what time it is. What's up?
Don't hear that right
What's
there.
up? You know I'm telling the truth.
Best in the world right here now. Best in the world.
Max, you got anything to say about this?
I would say, I would argue with him. This list is just about perfect, but I have one question for the Cowboys fans. Where does Stephen A. belong on this list? Bringing this negative energy to you. Bringing all this negativity, as the kids say, to your team.
I'm just being factual. Y'all want the truth? I'm giving you the truth. As Michael Irvin would say, I'm giving you the gospel. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. You heard me.
Mike, do you want to add anything to this?
This list is crazy. But you guys expect this. Where in the world do
He said this list is crazy.
someone gets a negative thing for being great and loyal? This is, if you didn't show up, he would be all over you. But you show up and be right, and now he can't take it because he doesn't have this where he is from. We understand. We're the best. We're the best. And time will tell. And I want you guys, don't let him keep going back to limited history if he's not going to revisit it all. I just want y'all to know.
I agree with that. If you're going to tell the story, tell the whole story. Don't just talk about how they haven't won in 23 years. At the end of the day, they have had one of the more successful NFL franchises in modern history.
Know that. Don't let him get
What Michael Irvin is missing is that I repeat it. Don't you dance around me. Don't you dance around me. What is that?
That's the crack dance. He about to head over to the White House after this. And I'm not talking about to see Trump. I'm talking about to dive head first, Tony Montana style, into that shit.
I'm not worried about it. The fact of the matter is I refer.
Stephen A. got shocked. Look at Molly Karen's face. Let me rewind this back.
I'm not worried about it. The fact of the matter is I refer. You know what I'm saying? Yo, let me tell y'all something right now. This man right here is a champion, and you
I think
associate
it's
yourself
time for
with
a
this.
commercial break. What do we think, everybody?
Get off of me, man.
I think
Get off
we
of
can
me,
take a
man.
quick break here.
Get off of me, man.
More first take when we come back. A lot more football to get into. These Cowboys fans showed out for sure. Live from Texas, live in Arlington.
Oh, boy. That's too much. It looked like Michael Irvin was trying to prep Stephen A. Smith for one of those boule rituals. Who the hell knows? So peace.